genuine?
Well, I don't want that to be the essence of the conversation, but basically, you've been in the park long enough, you've heard the arguments long enough, and yet you haven't changed position. So I'd question that, that's all.
Okay. In the sense that I'm dishonest or I'm unconvinced?
I think you're honest with, maybe honest with the people, not honest with yourself, maybe.
Okay. So maybe underlying something I really should believe, and I'm rejecting it for some reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That as soon as you become religious, you have to start adhering to laws and rules and regulations, start believing stuff that you can't prove and all of that.
Well, that's all part of it.
Yeah, of course it is.
I think I've said it to you before. If there was a good argument or evidence, I would change my mind. Even if from my point of view, I went, do you know what? Some of the moral implications, I believe it is very unpleasant.
Well, we can challenge the moral implications.
I would still believe it.
Because we're going to talk about morality.
We can do, sure.
All right. So basically, first thing the position I'm trying to hold is this, that somebody can hold a belief without evidence, and accept it to be true.
Well, people do that all the time.
Yeah. So, for example, my position to believe in the existence of a creator isn't unreasonable.
But you believe you've got evidence, correct? Whatever evidence is.
I didn't say that, did I?
Say again?
I didn't say that, did I? I said belief without evidence.
Okay, but that would be unreasonable, wouldn't it?
No.
So why not?
Because, well...
Think about it. Now, think about this. I'll give you an easy example. I believe in unicorns. No evidence. Is that reasonable?
Why do you... No. If you believe in unicorns without evidence, I would ask, why do you believe in unicorns?
And I say to you, because it makes me feel good.
Why does belief in unicorns...
I like the thought about unicorns. It sounds like a wonderful...
Have you ever seen a unicorn?
Only on paper.
So how do you know they exist? Or why do you believe they exist?
Because it makes me feel good.
No, but why... Right. So no, here's what's happened now, you see, is your reason for believing is irrational and illogical.
Okay.
Just because you like the sound of them doesn't mean they exist.
No, but I've seen them in drawings.
Yeah, but just because you've seen them on drawings doesn't mean they exist.
Sure, correct, yeah.
So your reasons for believing are illogical.
No, they're not illogical. They might be unreasonable to you, not illogical.
Well,
that means...
So you think anything drawn on paper must exist? Or can exist?
This person, not me personally.
No, we're using your example.
Yeah.
So I'm saying to you, if your reason for believing unicorns exist is because you've seen pictures of unicorns, I would ask you how you correlate a picture of a unicorn with the true existence of a unicorn.
We got a bit off track, but that's fine.
No, because here's the point, you see. Anyone can hold any belief they like. Correct. People can believe Jesus died for their sins.
Correct.
People can believe the Bible's the Word of God.
Yeah.
And they can't prove it, but they can give me reasons for it. And I can challenge those reasons for it.
Sure.
And if I can show those reasons for it to be unreasonable or illogical, or irrational, if I can show that, that means if they continue to hold that belief, they're now delusional. Because I can't collapse the belief because I can't prove it. I can't prove Jesus didn't die for their sins. Yeah? But what I can do is challenge the reasons they hold for that belief.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if they say because of the Bible, I'll say, why do you believe the Bible? Or the Bible says the Word of God, why do you believe it's the Word of God? And it will completely collapse by they come to the end of it. All right. So you can hold any belief you like. I agree. Believe in unicorns? I'll challenge you. Why do you believe in unicorns?
But originally you said you can hold a belief with no reasons, and I said
a belief can, without evidence, can be believed, and can be true. I'll give you an example. I'll give you a prime example. I've used this example earlier with man. Where'd he go? That geezer. I said, look, I've never proven my mum is my mum. I've never had a DNA test to see whether or not she's my mum or not. But I believe she's my mum. Right? And I have reasons to believe she's my mum. Yeah? So, at the moment, it's only a belief.
No, but you got reasons. You said you got reasons.
I have reasons.
Yes.
So, it's a belief still. It's not. I've got no evidence. Got no proof.
But reasons can have evidence or not, correct?
No, because the only way I can prove she's my mum is a DNA test.
Correct. But you've got other reasons.
Yeah, but that doesn't prove she's my mum. I can say she looks like me. Well, that's subjective.
I can look at the birth certificate, etc.
Birth certificate could be forged.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, could have been switched. I could have been. Forget that. I could have been switched to the hospital. She didn't know. For example.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, as it stands right now, I can only believe my mum is my mum. I can't say I know she is.
But you have the opportunity. It is available to you.
Okay. But I haven't.
No, but that's fine.
So as it stands right now, it's only a belief.
Yeah. But that can turn to...
No, it can do. Now, if I do a DNA test, and she's my mum, that will prove she's my mum.
Correct.
If I don't do a DNA test, she's still my mum.
You will still believe she's your mum, yes?
No. The fact will be she's still my mum.
What fact?
If I do a DNA test and she's my mum.
Yeah, now there's a fact.
No, there's the evidence for it.
Yeah, what is the fact that she's your mum?
The reality.
But you just said you could have been switched at birth, you might not be a mum.
No.
So,
No, but if I do a DNA test and she's my mum,
yeah.
that means if I didn't do the DNA test, it doesn't change the fact she was my mum.
I see what you're trying to say. You're trying to say basically that even if you didn't do a DNA test, she still could be your mum.
No. If I did a DNA test,
Yeah.
that would prove she's my mum.
Yes.
If I didn't do a DNA test, that wouldn't change the fact she's still my mum. It wouldn't change the fact. Maybe I couldn't prove it.
No, but there isn't the fact there then.
Well,
Because what are you going to give me as a fact?
okay. The fact is, if I do the DNA test and she's my mum,
Yeah.
and I don't do a DNA test, that doesn't change the reality that she's still my mum, even though I haven't proven it.
No, but it does though.
It doesn't.
Okay, because you're saying
So you're saying to me that if I do a DNA test, it proves she's my mum.
Yes.
All right. And I don't do a DNA test, then she's not.
no, but what I'm saying is that it's a belief. You at the
It's a
moment
belief.
you believe.
Agreed.
The moment you do a DNA test, you could say, "I know it's my mum."
No, I can prove she's my mum. Yes.
I know.
Well, even then, I can still. I don't know whether they made a mistake.
No, but then it's.
Then the DNA test could be an error.
Okay, but now you're going into what we call radical skepticism.
This is what I'm saying to you. Whether it happens.
Don't go there. Don't go there.
No. But the point here is this. The principle is this. Whether I believe my mum's my mum. Yeah.
I'm fine with
No.
that. Yeah.
But whether I prove it or not, I believe she's my mum based on reason. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Now those reasons are my rationale.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So my belief, without evidence, can still be true. Yeah.
It can be, yes.
Right.
But it could also be false. Yes. Yeah. Cool. That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not the issue, mate. That's not the point. The point is this: can a belief without evidence be true? And the reality is yes, it can.
It can be. My question to you, that which obviously before we started.
What would your reasons be?
So if somebody brings you a belief and they haven't got a reason, because that's what you said, yes?
No.
You said a belief could be true without reasons.
Well, I didn't say that. Belief without evidence.
Okay, so what is that?
So the example is this: if someone believes in something, but they cannot prove the thing they believe in is true
Yes.
with empirical, observable, testable evidence, that doesn't mean what they believe is false.
No, it doesn't. It could be that it's true.
It could be true.
Could be true.
Yes.
Okay.
Therefore, a belief without evidence could be true.
It could be.
Now, the only way you can test that belief is to test the reasons for that belief.
Sure.
Yeah?
Yes.
And if those reasons are illogical, you can then say the belief is false.
Yes, you could.
So
say the belief is
I'm
illogical.
confident in telling a Christian that his belief that the Bible is the Word of God is false.
Okay, that's
Yeah?
obviously-
Because
yeah.
the reasons they're claiming it's the Word of God collapse.
Okay, that's obviously your position. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. To give you an example. So So that's my stance. Yeah, I believe can be true without evidence.
Yes.
Right.
I want to add one extra thing for you.
Sorry?
I want to add one extra thing for you to think about,
Go on.
which is the scale of the claim. So if I say to you, I don't tell you any more information, I say I've got a dog at home. Are you going to believe me or not believe me?
I have no reason to. So you could have a dog.
That's a reasonable belief claim,
Right, go on.
even without evidence. If I say I've got an invisible dragon at home that sits in my backyard, what would you say now?
I would challenge your belief.
Yeah. But more than likely you would go, I don't accept it or I don't believe the dragon.
I have no issue with that.
So the extra thing you just need to consider is the nature of the claim.
Right.
As the claim's extraordinariness goes up, so we need to scale our... Yeah.
Such as a creator of the universe or an uncaused universe.
Correct.
Yeah, agreed.
So that becomes, the burden of proof is more on you if you're going to present it to everybody else. I can't challenge your belief and go, hey, Hamza, your belief, wrong. You believe what you believe. But if you say to me, Rob, here's what I believe, and I want you to potentially believe it for X, Y, and Z reasons, now I'm going to...
Or I can ask you why you don't believe it.
You can. The burden is on you, but I'm happy to give reasons.
No, the
why.
burden is on me if I'm going to prove it.
If you're going to present it to me as true and say, hey,
but we just had this discussion earlier, that the tools you use, the naturalistic understanding, which is what you are, isn't it? Use naturalism to understand things, the natural world.
Yeah, yes.
Right.
Certain things, yeah.
Now, then, according to what I know, you can correct me if I'm incorrect, science cannot be used to prove or disprove the existence of God. I don't believe so.
Okay.
No, you can challenge that, I don't mind.
Yeah, let's try that. Has God at any stage, as far as you're aware, interacted in the natural world in some form?
Caused it.
Say again?
Caused it.
No, but after the cause. So while humans have been on Earth, has God interacted in the natural world?
Yes.
Okay. The moment God interacts in the natural world, that's the claims that we can test. So that's the part that I will say we can test.
Right.
I can't test outside the universe from a naturalistic point of view, but I can test, or we could in principle test, anything where God has intervened.
Can you prove God hasn't intervened?
No, but that's a negative claim.
No, but that's a claim.
I can't prove that God.
So you wouldn't make that claim, would you?
Because it's possible that God has intervened to an Eskimo in the Greenland that nobody else knows about. So
Right.
I can't
No, of course you can't. Of course you can't. So you wouldn't make that claim. I understand that. All right. So what I'm saying to you is this: science only deals with a natural explanation.
Yes.
Natural reasons. It won't go to the metaphysical.
No, but as long as God interacts in the natural world, in principle, we can have a look into that through a scientific.
No, but there's no way to test that.
Sure, there is.
How are you going to test it?
So give me an example of something that God's done in the natural world. What sort of interaction has God had in the natural world?
All right, let's say causing the flood of Noah.
Okay, so do you think that in principle science can test whether that happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, can it?
Yes.
How?
Through geological studies, etc.
Well,
because some people claim that it's the big one in America, that big meandering area in Arizona, Grand Canyon. Some people think that Grand Canyon was caused by the floods.
Oh, yeah, but I'm not interested in that.
No, but it's a claim.
No. But you can't deal with that claim. I'm dealing with my Islamic claim, isn't it? See, we believe as Muslims that the flood is local rather than worldwide.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah. We don't have this localized to Noah and his region. We don't believe in this idea of a whole world being wiped out.
Okay. But in principle, we could test that in some way.
I don't see how you could.
Through geology, paleontology.
What, you can test whether or not there's been a flood and what caused it?
No, not necessarily what caused it, but has there been a flood?
No, but the whole point is the cause.
Yeah, but you might not always get to a cause.
No, but this is the whole point. This is the whole principle. The cause of the event.
Okay, so if it's an extraordinary...
Let's say there was a worldwide flood, just for example.
Yeah.
Or not worldwide flood, but a flood in this scenario. How could you prove the cause of that flood was naturalistic or not? If your model is only geared up to deal with the natural world, you can only accept a natural explanation anyway.
Okay, so I would ask you questions to ascertain, is this something that could be supernatural? In other words, your local flood, how tall was the water from...
No, you just asked, has God interfered in the natural world?
Yes.
And I've said, yes, for the flood.
Yes.
Right. But you cannot prove either way. Because your model, your tool you're using only accepts natural explanations.
But
it doesn't consider metaphysical explanations.
But it could.
But it doesn't.
It could.
But it doesn't. Because science is built on a natural explanation.
But God intervening in the world becomes a natural...
No, but that's the point. But if you look at a flood, you're never even going to contemplate God did it. Why? Because you're only looking for a natural way it could have occurred.
Not necessarily. I'll give you an example. So your flood, if we could measure in some way that the flood reached the top of...
I mean, you can't measure in some way. How are you going to measure that?
I'm giving it to you in principle. So by rock...
No, but let's deal with the realities, because we're dealing with realities here. We're dealing with what's happened, yeah? So you asked me, has God interfered, as in, has he done this thing? And I said, yes. So you don't have the tools to determine how such a flood occurred. You don't have the tools.
But of course we do. We've got the scientific method. What your claim is, you are...
But your scientific method does not take the metaphysical into account.
But as soon as the metaphysical dips his finger into the...
No, but you won't even consider a metaphysical dip in a finger.
Now you're talking about philosophical naturalism. That's not my position. I'm a methodological naturalist, which means if there was overwhelming evidence that in fact
Well, there is no evidence that a finger dipped in.
In principle, Hansa. Just differentiate between practice and principle. In principle, if the water levels, if we could demonstrate in some way, I know you're going to say, oh, we can't. If in some way we could demonstrate, for example, example, that Noah's Ark was on top of the buildings, now I'm going, okay, what's the most reasonable explanation here? Could it have been a flood in that area or a global flood?
Right.
That's a reasonable. Now I have to postulate that. I can't say, it's impossible.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. So methodological naturalism says it's possible that a God can intervene. I'm not saying it's impossible.
So your model, your tool does allow for the metaphysical.
It allows for the metaphysical to tip his finger in, and for me.
No. It allows for the existence of the metaphysical.
Yes. It's not
really.
Yeah. It's not like I know God doesn't exist, but I've said that too many times.
So all right, alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
So that's not the natural. That's not scientific model.
Yeah, but science was still used within it.
No, because science is based on the natural, not on the supernatural.
Yes, but science only works on the natural, which is what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
So the science doesn't take the supernatural into account. But you're taking it into account.
I'm saying it's in principle it's possible. You go. I think we're
no. What I'm saying is this. Unless I'm wrong, I don't mind being corrected. From what I know of the scientific model,
yes,
it only takes into account a natural explanation. Now, if you're only taking into account a natural explanation, that means you're dismissing supernatural altogether.
Okay, so there's I think where our differences. Maybe we can agree to disagree. But what I would say is science goes to the edge. Let's call it the edge of the universe. I can only empirically look at what's inside this bubble we call the universe. I can't look outside. So when you say metaphysically, are you talking about what's outside the universe, or
I'm talking about things that cannot be explained by the natural understandings.
Okay, but my position is as long as it happens in the natural world, in principle it could be explained. That's all I'm saying. And it could be explained in theory by some kind of supernatural.
Look, explaining it is one thing, but look, for example, if there was a flood, all right, science will automatically take a natural view of it.
It will start that way, yes, that's the most reasonable position.
Alhamdulillah.
But if there was something unusual or amazing that had happened at that flood...
and then they say, don't know.
That may or may not be.
No, but that's the case, because you did it yourself. When it comes to the origination of the universe, rather than consider the metaphysical, you'd rather say, don't know.
But I've got other explanations. But if we both...
Of the origination of the universe.
But I've got explanations.
No, you got naturalistic explanations.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But you won't take into account a metaphysical creator.
Not at this stage.
No. Why not?
Because we've got other explanations, and...
Why are your other explanations, which go against all the natural explanations...
They are actual natural explanations.
Really? Give me a natural explanation for the origination of the universe.
One is inflationary theory, one is conformal psychic cosmology. And
what's conformal? Was it?
Conformal psychic cosmology.
What's that?
Okay, so that means that model shows that the universe is eternal in the past and eternal in the future.
What's that based on?
So that's based on...
What evidence do you have for that?
Okay, so the guy that came up with this has got some...
Is it a belief?
Yes, he's got a belief.
So it's just a belief?
No, he's got some...
No, can he prove his belief?
Empirically?
Yeah.
No, not yet.
Right, so it's just a belief, right? So now we can test the reasons for his belief.
Correct.
Go on.
We can do the same with any of the other hypotheses.
Right.
My position is this. If the smartest people in the world, let's call them cosmologists in that field, don't know yet, how can anybody else claim...
The reason they say don't know, because they only deal with what the natural can explain.
At this stage, that's correct.
Right. So the smartest people in the world you're referring to won't take the idea of a creator into account.
Not at this stage, no, correct.
No, that's what I'm saying to you. So, it will never.
No, we can't say it will never. That's a position. You've got to be careful with that one. Can't say never.
No. But we're living in the now, isn't it?
Sure.
So what you believe now is based on the now, isn't it?
Sure.
So right now, the position you're holding is ignoring the metaphysical for a don't know, isn't it?
When you say ignoring, no, I wouldn't say that.
See, I'll see how I am. See, I don't know of anything. I was having a conversation with the old man, and I had to switch it a little bit because he goes, "Oh, nothing begins to exist." So I've had to conform this. All right. Nothing changes form, without cause. Yes.
Within our universe, yes.
From what we know.
Yes, correct.
Based on what we know.
Yes.
So, and the universe changed form.
Okay, that we don't know for sure.
We don't know.
We don't know.
What about you? What do you believe?
Okay, so at this moment in time,
believer.
I will say
You're a believer. Do you believe?
The inflationary model seems to be the most plausible.
So do you believe the universe changed form? From a singularity to what we have?
Depends what you mean by change form.
Change form from one thing to another?
If it rearranged particles, then probably yes.
Right.
way of thinking about it.
Right, right. And can anything happen without? Can that happen without a cause?
Not in that model, no. But there are other models.
No, anything you know of.
No, nothing that we know.
So you don't know that, right? So you don't know of anything that changes form to something else without a cause, yeah?
At this moment in time, yes. And I would caution.
But we're living in this moment in time.
Yeah, but I would caution you with two things.
Go on.
One is our intuition and our knowledge is extremely limited, the very small and the very big. So at quantum mechanical level, things happen.
No.
And the same at the universe. So we've got to be careful not to extrapolate what happens here outside.
No. What we're going to do is very, very simple. We have to ask the question: do we know of anything that changes form into something else without a cause to do so?
Not within this universe.
Right. We don't know of anything then, yeah?
In this universe.
Right. So now we've already accepted now that you believe in the inflatory model, which means the universe was at one point singularity, whatever that form was.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and became the known universe today, yeah? So that requires a cause now according to your standard.
Yes, that model.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
So my point is this. What's that cause? Don't know.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, but on that model, they have got a...
Now what? All right. Now what's the natural understanding of that?
Okay, so the natural understanding of inflation...
Of what caused it?
Yes, yeah. So the multiverse is the cause of...
No, that's not your model.
It is part of the model. It is. So
Or you believe in the multiverse?
that model has got the multiverse built into it.
You believe in the multiverse?
It's a possibility.
No. Well, Rob, I'm not going to argue someone else's thing here. If you believe in the multiverse, I'll deal with the multiverse. If you're not believing in the multiverse, don't use it for your state of the argument.
I've said I don't know.
No. Do you? I'm not asking do you know. I'm asking do you believe?
It's a possibility.
No. That's not
I
the
believe
question.
it's possible. That's the way I give it to you.
Do you believe? Look. Do you believe in the idea of an unlimited amount of universes, or do you believe this is one universe
Okay, so
that originated from a singularity?
So if I believe in that model, then I would believe in...
No, which model do you believe in, Rob?
Hamza, you keep asking me the same thing. I've said to you, nobody knows for sure.
No, but you have a model you're following.
You've asked
Look.
me... No, I'm not following a model. I'm saying to you, this is the most plausible one that I've heard.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Right. So, according to your...
You want to say something, you keep wanting to do something.
You have got instead of well, he's not going to win. I'll win.
No, he's very smart.
If you want, after him.
Sure, after him. Let me finish with it.
Yeah, no problem, man. You can step in, I don't mind. If you have knowledge of cosmology and all that business, feel free.
I'm a scientist.
Oh, Allahu Akbar.
Good. I've also got a scientist friend as well, so it'll be good for the two of you to debate.
No. We'll bring the scientists in a minute, yeah? When I run out of science, I'll bring you in, my brother.
I've got my buddy as well.
They bring Phil, he's here, yeah, I've seen him.
Not today. Was he here today?
Yeah, but I had a discussion with Phil, and Phil's agreeing with me.
What does he agree with?
Watch the video.
Okay. I haven't seen that video.
With Phil. It was when I dealt with, first of all, Ansar, then it was the professor looking geezer, and then it was Phil. He was number 3.
How long ago was that? On your channel? I'll have a look. Okay, cool, I'll have a look.
Alright, so basically, so what we're saying is this. I can only deal with what you believe, isn't it? Because we deal with your belief here.
But I've said to you I don't know.
No. I know you said you don't know because you're only taking naturalistic explanations. But yet you've also conceded that the universe, if it follows a model that you think is most plausible, it requires a cause.
Yes.
But you don't know what that cause is.
So the model predicts that the cause would be the multiverse.
Right.
So if I believe that model and it had a beginning, in the sense...
Well, no, because there are people who believe in that model but don't believe in the multiverse.
Okay, but there's very few of those. So,
really?
Yeah, because we went to go and interview them.
Does Stephen Hawking's believe... No, but I have to.
No,
because you talked earlier about the greatest minds of science and whatever.
Okay, but don't go with Hawking's.
Why?
The reason is because Hawking and Penrose, they talked about a singularity. We went to go and interview Sir Roger Penrose, and he talks about conformal psychic cosmology. That model has no singularity. It doesn't have a beginning.
I didn't say Penrose. I said Hawkins.
Yeah, but they did that. They did the study together.
So this was the discussion I had with
Hawking.
No. But I'm just asking the questions here.
Sure, I'll ask you and I'll tell you.
So you concede the universe requires a cause, isn't it?
On that model, it has a version of a cause.
Right, but the natural explanation is a multiverse, yeah?
Yes, that's what they're driven to.
Is there another one?
For that model, I don't think so. Not
What's the camera, bro? Camera's better. Camera.
That one, I'm not aware of another cause. So no.
Right, and do you believe in the multiverse?
You don't need to say, do I believe in it? That question is difficult for me to answer because I would say if inflationary theory is true, then yes, yes, I would believe in the.
No, but do you believe in a multiverse?
I don't know. I know you keep asking me. I don't know whether that's true. If that model, which is plausible, had a beginning, then the multiverse.
No, but then see, look, if you don't believe in the multiverse, don't be afraid to say so.
No, but that's part of the model.
Right, I'm not asking to prove it. I'm just asking, do you believe it?
Okay, for the
And the word belief is synonymous with, do you accept it? Are you convinced by it? Do you trust it? Do you have faith in it? And if you don't, just say you don't.
Things, I'm not sure, but for the sake of the argument, I say I believe in it. Because
I don't want you to agree because it suits you what you're trying to prove. I want to know, you know what I said about honesty?
Yeah.
I want you to be honest here.
Of course. I don't come here to be dishonest.
No. But the point here is this: you kind of indicate and have implied now that you don't really believe in M theory. You kind of implied that, and now you're saying I'll accept it because it.
Well, I'm not an expert in theory. So
No. But look, you've implied you don't accept it. You don't believe it.
What is M theory? What do you understand?
Multiverse idea about these bubbles, universe exploding, contracting, and all that business.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying that's the.
That's the. No, yeah. But do you accept that model then?
I'll accept that part of it.
I don't want you to accept it just for the sake of an argument. You see, I'm not interested in that.
Okay, so
I'm talking to Rob here. I'm not talking to somebody who's. Do you understand? I want to know what you personally believe. What's your social condition and what's brought you to this? Because you know why? You can't prove what you believe. Yeah, agreed?
Sure.
Right. So you have reasons to believe what you believe. So that's why I asked about the M theory, the multiverse idea. Do you believe that? If you believe that,
I believe it's plausible. What more can I say to you? You want to push that a bit more than that? I'm not sure what more than that. That's a plausible explanation.
Is it the only naturalistic explanation?
No.
What's the other natural explanation for the cause of the universe then?
Okay, so the other one is that it's eternal in the past and the future, and the other one is.
Do you believe that?
That's a possibility.
No, do you believe that?
I don't know which one.
No, I'm asking what you know. I'm asking what you believe.
I don't know what I believe about.
Can it be eternal? All right, let's make it easy for you. Can you be eternal in the past, eternal in the future, and have multiverse?
No, those two are contradictory.
Contradictory.
Yes.
So if so they're both what? So if you accept that, you can't accept that.
So whichever model's true, if we find.
I'm not asking what model's true.
There will be a.
You don't know what's true. You can't prove it.
Each model has its own explanation.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is this: which model do you believe to be true? I'm asking you to prove what you believe. I'm just asking you which one you believe.
I think inflationary theory is the most plausible.
No, inflationary theory is the first part, Big Bang.
Yes.
We're talking about the cause of this now.
Yes.
Now you give two theories.
There's only one with that. Yes. Two theories.
You give M theory?
So two theories.
Oh, sorry, forgive me. So you're saying there's no other naturalistic explanation for the Big Bang?
I'm saying that's the most widely accepted.
No.
Yeah.
So what's the other naturalistic explanation for the Big Bang, other than M theory?
Okay, so it's the eternal universe.
No, that's not inflation. That's not.
It still does. It's still.
Oh, sorry. Explain the eternal universe to me.
So Roger Penrose's one model goes basically like this: there's been universes in the past, and they continue on, and he calls it eons. So what they do is they do this, they dissipate, and it comes back together and starts.
What's the difference between that and multiverse?
Okay, because there's only one universe. It's linear. It's not like all over the show. There's only one universe. The line goes up and down. That's it. So the line is infinite. One universe in the past. We call it one universe.
Right.
And infinite in the future, and there's one line.
Right.
The multiverse is like bubbles, and from that multiverse, this universe can come into being. So that model goes with inflationary theory. So the two models.
Right. No, I understand that. Yeah. Okay. So you have these two. So these two theories can't be together. Yeah.
No. If one's true, then.
So which one do you believe to be true?
At the moment, the inflationary theory is more likely, more plausible. There's more data that points in that direction. Like
I thought they're both inflationary. You just said. You said they're both inflationary.
No, one is called inflationary theory, the other is called CCC theory.
So what's CCC?
That's conformal psychic cosmology. That's the linear.
That's the linear one.
Yes.
So and you lean towards the M theory.
The inflationary theory is what I call it.
Why?
Because inflationary theory has more observational data and mathematics that make it plausible. Not guaranteed, but plausible.
Give me an example.
The microwave background, negative gravity, gravitational.
And how does that differ from the other one?
How's it different?
How's it different from CCC?
Okay, because the very early, getting technical, I'm not an expert.
No, because look, you're pinning your beliefs to this. There's a reason for it.
Yeah.
There's reasons why you lean towards one than the other.
Yeah.
So for you to do that, you need to obviously kind of understand what they're saying and why you think one is more plausible than the other.
I'm able to give you the deep mathematics. I need Phil to do that. But the observations that point to that direction explain how the universe came around so far seem to be the best. That's the reason.
So they're any more natural explanations?
And then there's God's model, which allows the universe to create itself in a time loop. We interviewed him on Friday, Tuesday.
What? So the universe caused itself?
Yeah. Now, to everybody standing here, go, that's impossible.
No. I'm just asking.
Yeah.
I would never say it's impossible. I would ask, why would you believe that?
It's another model.
Is there anything that causes itself that you know of?
Not in our universe, but outside our universe, that's a model that.
So there's right.
Yeah.
So there's an uncaused cause.
In a sense, yes, yeah. And it's like in a circle. He showed this diagram where at the beginning part, there's like this little circle, and then the universe is branched off from that.
Right. So there's uncaused cause.
There'll be a video out.
So let's just clarify something here then. So all of these models are just beliefs without evidence, yeah?
There's some evidence that points towards them, but nothing conclusive.
No. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
Now, I use I'm not afraid to look at something outside of the natural explanation. Yeah? Because I don't know of anything that can come into existence or change form without a cause. So if I look at the universe and it looks like it came into existence, it's not always existed, then it requires a cause which you accept, but the difference is the cause of that, yeah? Now, I believe the cause needs to be uncaused.
Yes.
Yeah? So if we have an uncaused cause of the universe, yeah, then the question is that cause of the universe conscious of what? I know we've had this discussion before, and I don't really want to go there again. Anyway, is it a conscious cause, or is it like a mechanical cause? And I explain these definitions to you.
Yeah, I'm not that familiar with mechanical, but
there's probably another technical term for it. Yeah. But basically, by conscious I mean,
it's not
by conscious I mean it decides when to effect its course, cause its effect, should I say?
So there is another explanation, and Carlo is walking around and studied this, and he feels very strongly that there is another option, almost like a God, except it has no will, it's not an agent.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm saying to you is, so the question is now, do you believe this uncaused cause is conscious or mechanical? I.e., did it cause its effect when it chose to cause its effect?
Are you talking about your version of the cause,
yours.
Oh, my one. No, it didn't choose. No. There's no will in
There's
there.
no conscious.
No, there's not conscious.
Right.
No will. No.
So basically, its effect is equal to it.
No. It generates universes randomly. If we speak to Carlo, he will explain it to you.
It generates. No, but
can generate.
No, you can't say it can. You say you believe it can.
Yeah. Believe it can generate.
You believe that.
Yeah.
You don't believe that though.
But that's a model. Again, remember these are all models.
No, but I'm interested in your model.
Yeah. So inflationary theory.
Yeah.
In fact, that's a good point. Inflationary theory predicts the multiverse, but another option could be exactly this: the quantum vacuum,
right?
Which can bring a universe into existence,
right?
When you say uncaused, it'll bring it into existence. Doesn't require mind, and it happens randomly because of the quantum fluctuations.
Right.
And so it's how it can happen.
Yeah. So again, all these are just for me is multiverse of the gaps in my experience. Sure. Anyway, from what I can see. Okay. So basically, where you can't explain something, you create a theory that could be true or not.
Okay, but here's the difference.
Go on.
Here's the crucial difference.
Go on.
We can, and hopefully will, falsify the theories, because only one can be true. So what do cosmologists do? They go, here's a lot of data that shows us something happened. Now, what's possible? And they put together mathematical, and they try and match it with observational data, and they go, okay, so here's
but again, you fell into the trap, because whoever does that is only going to look at the natural explanations.
But that's the place to start, isn't it? Do you think that we should start? Is it reasonable to start with a supernatural explanation?
No. I would look at the natural explanations, and then I would look at something. Is there something something outside of our scope that could be the cause.
Okay, but why would you do that?
Why?
Yeah.
Because there's nothing really conclusive with regards what you're saying. And the second point I would go to then is this is just the cause of the universe. I'm talking about how the universe became what it is. I'm talking about species. I'm talking about all of these things. The design within everything. Yeah. So you would
Parent design. Yeah.
see.
Well, you would say design. I'd say parent design. Yeah.
Well, if you can explain to me how evolution that you believe, I've always wanted to ask this question. I'm going to ask it.
Yeah, I'll do my best to answer.
Okay, the leaf cutter ant.
Okay, I've heard of it.
Right. Do you understand how the leaf cutter ant works?
No, not specific.
All right. Because don't forget, it's based on what evolution? Survival of the fittest. Yeah. So. Ants require altruism to exist.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. I don't know that.
Well, ants need to work together to exist as a colony.
Yes, yeah.
They can't exist singular.
Yeah.
So, what is the mechanism that tell ants to come together as a colony, right? And I'll explain the leaf cutter ant, and if you can explain this through evolutionary understanding, all right. The leaf cutter ant, it cuts leaves. You've seen them, isn't it? On the thing, he's carrying the leaf in their mandibles.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Now, they can't eat those leaves. Right? They can't eat those leaves. So why are they cutting these leaves? They can't eat them. They take them to their nest, and at the front of their nest there's what's called a dormant ant within the same species of ants, right? And it basically blocks the entrance to the hole with its head. So when they come with the leaf, it will move out the way, and the worker ants will come out and they'll take the leaves. Now remember, they can't eat these leaves, so what are they doing? These leaves get dragged into the nest, where they get taken to another ant from the same species, where it chews up the leaf. Now it has a special zinc or something in its jaw, and it turns the leaf into like a mush. Then the worker ants come, they take the mush, they go to a chamber within the nest, which is not too hot, not too cold, which is a perfect temperature, and they spread this mush on the floor. And then what happens is a fungus grows on top of this mush, and then they harvest the fungus and they feed their young with it.
Okay, that's quite intricate, yeah.
So, subhanallah. Now the question is this: how does evolutionary survival of the fittest explain that? In the sense of, how did a sterile universe, create a situation where you have a colony of ants, all one species, all have different roles, all have different abilities, and yet if they didn't exist in that colony, they would be dead. Sorry, sister. They'd be dead.
Yeah.
Because why? If there's no one cutting the leaves, if there's no dormant ant, they get raided. If there's no one chewing up the leaves, all right. How would you explain that?
I'll have to look that up. That's an interesting story about how the ants come. I'll go look that up and see. Well, what's the current explanation?
I'll
give you a counterexample, if I may. Well, not a counter.
You're going to give me the snowflake or something.
No.
Ice cube or something.
There's another interesting one with these
Sorry, sister.
Japanese not bees. What the biggest stinging thing?
Hornets.
These big Japanese hornets.
The jeweled one.
Yeah, have you seen them? They're huge. They're about this big. They go into colonies, and 20 of them can decimate a colony of 100 million bees. They just because they're impenetrable. When they came to Europe, they were decimating colonies everywhere. The ants couldn't, the bees couldn't survive. In Japan, they can. How did they do it? When this wasp comes to the hornet comes to the nest, they surround the hornet and they start beating their wings and moving at high speed. And they generate heat, and they actually kill this thing through heat. And I was reading a little bit about this, and that's the evolutionary evolvement of these bees.
No, that's different. You see,
okay.
You see, these ants had to have this job from the word go. That's how they survived. An ant on its own couldn't survive. Okay. The whole colony survives by each doing its job within that colony. Now the question is this: how from a sterile universe do you get this colony of ants, all with their jobs, all with their unique abilities, from nothing?
When you say from nothing, I mean...
From a sterile universe.
Yeah, but obviously the universe isn't sterile, is it?
Oh, you say the universe contained life before it exploded?
Not before it exploded, but once it exploded.
No, once it exploded...
There's the potential for life.
No. That means there was no life before it exploded, yes?
So when it inflated, you mean there was no life? No.
Before it inflated, there was no life. After it inflated, life appeared.
Correct, yeah.
From where?
From the interaction of the particles. Do you know that the reason...
No, life, we're talking about life here.
Yes, I'm saying to you. So from the interaction of particles. Do you know
Go on.
that you and I couldn't be here except for stars exploding? If the universe expanded and there were no stars, we wouldn't be here.
I don't know that, but the point is...
So
right.
what I'm saying is that the universe has the potential, and obviously has, in our case, given rise to what we call life. There might be other forms of life out there we don't know about. They've even picked up potential life on one of the moons around Saturn. This Cassini spacecraft picked it up.
Okay. The reason they do this, there could be life on Mars, because they sense water.
Correct.
Yeah?
Yes.
And then water, then life can form in water.
Correct. Oh, not even water. This isn't water.
No, but they use water. Alright. Now we know in Islam that we're told in the Quran how everything is created from water. So we know that anyway. But the point here is this. How?
You mean the actual mechanism?
Yeah.
Not sure.
We don't know.
I don't know that we as humans...
See, I personally cannot see, this is my own belief,
Sure.
how a universe from a singularity that can explode the way you claim, inflate the way you say it, then all of a sudden life starts appearing and everything seems to know what it's doing, organized. I don't get that. I mean, I'll give you another example of a species surviving. Yeah? Have you heard of I think it's a jeweled hornet? Have you heard of
That's
this?
the same one that I was talking about.
No. What this one does, it hunts cockroaches. Yeah? It hunts cockroaches. And the first thing it does, it cuts their antennae, which reduces their flight reflex. Yeah? So the cockroach then becomes immobilized. They then paralyze it and drag it to their nest. They then put it in their nest, and this cockroach now cannot move. It doesn't have the ability to run. It's done. And then this jeweled hornet, or jeweled wasp I think it's called actually, lays its eggs in this cockroach.
Yes.
And then it goes out, fills in the burrow, and leaves. When the babies hatch, they start to eat the cockroach. But the way they eat the cockroach is in a way that will keep the cockroach alive the longest. So they won't go for its, the essential organs or whatever is that a cockroach is. Yeah, they will know how to take a cockroach apart without
killing it quickly.
Without killing it quickly. Now, how did that happen? Because if they didn't have that ability, the cockroach would die straight away. The young wouldn't be able to survive. Yeah, because the cockroach will start to rot.
Okay, but it's possible they could have evolved another mechanism. So that's just one.
No. I'm just giving examples. And the other one I'm interested in is the spider. There's a spider has two web mechanisms. Did you know that? It has one web. It casts to catch flies, and it has another web. It casts when it wants to metamorphose into something, to get bigger or whatever, shed its skin or whatever, and it's not sticky and whatever. All right. This particular wasp, nasty these wasps, right? It lays its eggs in the spider. It paralyzes it first. It then mind controls the spider and tells the spider to spin the web that it uses itself to metamorphose or to grow, and then the young of the wasp cocoon in this thing, and the spider protects them until they hatch.
Is the spider still alive and it can move? Or?
The spider's fine. The spider's been mind controlled. Yeah, it's been injected with something that tells it to spin the web to house the.
They're in its body and they hatch.
Not in its body.
Oh, just
in the web.
Gotcha.
And then the spider protects those cocoons because it's its web. Then obviously when the wasp hatch, they kill the spider.
Yeah.
But the point here is this again. I personally cannot understand how this could happen accidentally, which you believe. believe?
No, well, not accidental.
Well, it is accidental.
No.
Was it meant to happen this way?
No, but remember, evolution is not about accidental. It's about
Was it deliberate?
random mutations and say again?
Was it deliberate?
No, it would have been influenced by its environment. So essentially,
No, but it has to be influenced from it has to happen from day one, or it can't survive.
what do you mean from day one?
Because that's how it survive. That's how it does it.
Yeah, but things evolve over millions of years, don't they? It's not like it happened like overnight. It's a long process. But your
But I'm just saying. I'm just trying to understand. These are my reasons for the idea that this cause of the universe is bigger than just some random accidental event. I believe the universe is deliberate.
Yes, I know. But that's the big claim. That's the claim really to look at. And this is not a personal thing. It's just called an argument from ignorance. When you said I can't think of anything, that means, well, I've exhausted what I understand. Does that mean that the explanation is still out there?
No.
Yes,
What it means is I believe the most plausible explanation.
Okay, but you're basing.
And I'm taking in the naturalistic.
Yeah, but you're basing it on a very small knowledge of.
I'm basically, first of all, I've based it on I don't believe anything that changes its form can do so without a cause. I'm basing it on that.
Okay, but that's within the universe.
From what we know.
Yes.
So, therefore, I'm not going to do no special pleading and say there must be something outside the universe we don't know that can do that.
But you do say that.
No, I don't.
Well, it's God.
No. I believe what I understand God to be is the uncaused cause.
Yes.
And I believe that the uncaused cause requires consciousness.
Can I say?
Oh, I'm sorry.
So then examples that you both gave.
The atheist is going to bash me now.
Come in closer because otherwise I can't hear you and I can't hear you. Come closer.
Can I just say, then a couple of examples you both give about these ants and these wasps and things, aren't they amazing? And to go on your point, if I was able to give you an explanation, like a computer program that showed you like very simple things, following very simple laws to achieve a very complex outcome, would then you start believing in evolution?
What do you mean? Do you believe evolution is proven?
No, I'd say...
No, but first of all, do you believe evolution is proven?
I think it's a brilliant idea.
No, I didn't ask about your ideas.
And I think it's got a lot of...
I didn't ask about your subjective opinion. I said you believe it's proven.
Yes.
Which model?
Like I say, if you get...
No, which model of evolution is proven?
Simple things.
No, which model?
Yeah, 6 models. Oh, okay. I don't know the name of them.
But which model you believe is proven then? Because there's 6 models, and they can't all be correct. So which one is correct? According to you, is proven. Because then there wouldn't be the models. It would have proof.
What are the 6 models?
No, I'm asking you. You're the one who says it's proven.
You're the one who believes it, so you should know the answer.
This is your belief, not mine.
Evolution, right? The basic idea. I jumped in and asked him something.
No. What I'm saying to you is this: you jumped in on something with basic knowledge, and no disrespect. I don't want to just pummel you like smacking a puppy, but you cannot come in and say something's proven when I show you the 6 models of it, and you don't know which version you believe is proven. See, proven means there shouldn't be 6 models. There should be 1 model. Agreed or no?
It depends what you mean, because remember, evolution is a big...
If something's proven, what does that mean?
Okay, but what is proven? What's proven?
Exactly.
Let's be clear on what we're talking about.
You have empirical, observable, testable evidence that it can be no other than what we're saying it is.
Let's be clear on something. When we use the word evolution, that's like cosmology. We equate the word evolution with cosmology as an analogy that encompasses a lot of stuff. Evolutionary biologists are
Do you believe?
about things within.
Do you believe it's proven?
The modern theory of evolution,
Proven.
as far as I can see, it is
Give me one example of it.
transitional forms.
No, give me evidence.
Genetics.
I want evidence.
What do you?
I want evidence of something, that empirical, observable, and testable that can change its form.
Okay, so if I provide one or show you one, would that satisfy you?
I could accept your model as
Go
plausible.
and have a look.
And before we get too carried away, I as a Muslim have no issue with adaptation, yeah? So you accept that, yeah?
So I'm curious as to why Muslims, because I see Sabur was one of them. Some Muslims now are claiming we accept evolution 99%. The only thing we don't accept is that humans evolved.
Okay.
But everything else.
First thing, I can't defensible. I don't know what he said. Okay. But what I'm saying to you is this: adaptation through survival of the fittest. Yeah, I have no issue with it. It doesn't. If
species evolved over millions of years.
I believe a species can adapt to its environment.
Can it evolve?
I don't believe a species can become a separate species.
Yeah, but that's a key,
I don't think I believe that.
Key part of it.
Yeah. Is that proven? Can you give me one example of a species becoming another species?
Yeah. So we can show you the transitional forms.
No. You're just going to show me bones and tell me what it is. You're not going to prove it, are you?
Okay, but that's not good enough for you.
No.
If all the evolutionary biologists, paleontologists can show you that here was one.
Show me what?
Here was one animal, here was another one, and here's something that looks like both of them.
No. You have to prove to me that that animal became that animal.
What sort of proof would
any animals that are in transition
what proof would suffice for you? Because you're saying proof.
I don't think there is any proof, mate. Unless you can show me something now, that is, or something that you know of that has been observed.
Okay, but that's not how evolution works, is it?
No. Of course it is. That's why you can't prove it.
Okay, but it depends what you mean by proof.
Proof means it cannot have happened. Okay. Proof means you have empirical, observable, testable evidence that it could not have occurred any other way.
Okay, so that's
which he believes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but Hamza, the standard you've just used there now, we can't prove anything in the world. Your standard has now become.
It's not my standard.
Yeah.
Not my standard.
Science doesn't work like that.
Really?
No.
Give me an example of proof according to scientific model, then.
Okay, so proof of a scientific theory would be something like evolution. Another scientific theory would.
No. What is proof according to science?
A large amount of evidence pointing in the direction.
Is it not observable, testable evidence?
Yes, but you add an extra criteria.
What did I add?
You said it has to be proven as it has to be absolutely true.
No. Then what did I mention absolutely true?
You said that early on.
No, proven.
So what is proven?
If something's proven, does that mean that it cannot be anything else?
Okay, so
no. What does proven mean to you then? Sorry, don't disrespect.
I think what Rob's trying to say is you're trying to make this like 100%.
No. I'm asking you. What does proven mean? I believe proven. It means it cannot be anything else. According to the evidence.
Do you mean it's impossible for it to be anything else?
It means I have evidence that this is how it happens.
Yes. Could that change or?
Obviously. So but then your proven then is transitory, isn't it? So you can't really have any proof. Because if I'm not wrong, correct me. Science doesn't have the facility to claim proof.
No, but it can do this.
Not absolute proof.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, but let's say you're in a courtroom.
So if it's not absolute proof, then you cannot say this is how it happened.
Yes, you can.
You could say this is how I believed it happened, or this is how it could have happened, or this is the only naturalistic explanation of how it may have occurred, but you cannot say this is how it occurred.
So when I say this is how it occurred,
but you cannot say that.
Why?
Because then you have to prove it.
Okay, so
it's a claim.
Okay, so if we provided you with genetics, DNA,
what does genetics prove?
That animals have a lineage that they go from
what does
one
that
animal
prove?
to another.
What does that prove?
That shows that we had an.
You give me an example. I mean, explain away speciation, for example. How does speciation happen in the African savannah?
What do you mean?
Okay, for a species to evolve, I'm not an expert on evolution, so I don't want to get too deep.
I'm just reading it.
He seems to be, because you believe it's proven, isn't it? All right, so we did say that.
Can I just set up the framework there?
One second. So in the African savannah, you have lions, you have cheetahs, you have leopards, you have panthers.
Black panthers. And all
right. Now, for speciation means, for this evolution to occur, the species has to be separated and isolated from its original species, and then adapt or change in such a way that it cannot breed with its original species. Do you understand that or not?
Yes, but that happens for a long period.
It has to happen. It has to be isolated. Yeah?
I'm not sure if it has to be isolated.
Well, if it's not isolated, what's going to stop it mating with its...
Well, some of them could move away, and obviously...
No. It has to be isolated. Speciation requires isolation.
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Explain to me then, how let's say we have a great cat in Africa. Yeah? All right. And it starts to adapt to its environment. So let's say we're talking about a lion, and it starts to adapt to its environment. If the whole species, if the whole species become another creature, that's just adaptation. Yeah? If for it to occur, speciation means that a portion of them have to become something completely different to what it was originally, so it cannot mate with it.
I don't think it does mean that.
What?
I I don't think it does mean that.
Where do you get your understanding of speciation from then?
Why not just the ether?
Well, if they didn't isolate,
Yes.
then if they carried on mating with each other,
Yes.
where's the
Defining barrier of
Yeah.
speciation. Well, it could be many things, couldn't it? We could just make it up. We could just say this species is defined by having these traits. However,
No,
it
but
also interact with this.
no, but you're saying that for it to change,
Yes.
it has to be away from its original.
Yes.
So in the African savannah,
Yes.
how do we have so many species of big cat? For it to be true, what you're saying is they would have all have had to be separated from each other.
No, because you're making it so that species can't mate with each other.
No, but that's true evolution.
Says who?
It's not then.
What do you mean by that? It's not true.
Well, how do you understand evolution then?
Did you say why don't I?
No, how do you understand it?
Well, how I understand it, simple things undergo simple processes to create a complex outcome.
What's the difference between evolution and adaptation?
No, adaptation is a subpart of evolution.
Right, so they react to their environments.
Yes.
Right? So if they're reacting to their environments and they're all in the same environment, why are they all reacting differently?
Because some of them exploit different resources, different ways of surviving.
But they're in the same place.
Yeah, but that place has very complex.
And they're all the same species. So how can you have distinct lions, distinct panthers, distinct cheetahs, distinct leopards? Yeah? It means there needs to have been a separation from the original species for that to occur separately. Yeah?
Well, actually, let's say there was.
Otherwise, how are you going to get all these defined species within the same area?
I was going to show you. Let's say you had like two different types of berries, but one type of herder, the cattle of the berry, and then the very strong cattle eat the very nutritious berry. The weak ones eat the other ones. Over time, the weak.
Sorry, two cattles.
No. One whole cattle group.
Cattle group.
Species of cattle.
Right, and there's two types of berry.
Two types of berry.
One is nutritious, one is
Half nutritious.
right. So the cattle that eat the nutritious one do what?
They're the strong ones. So the strong ones eat the good berries.
Right.
And then some of the one cattle would eat some of that berry, the other berry. Yeah?
Right.
Then some of them would change so that berry could be consumed.
Or they'll just die.
No, but like I said, it goes over millions of years, doesn't it? So it's very subtle things over millions of years.
Right. So what would happen over millions of years with these cattle?
You would find that one cattle.
One cattle?
No, oh yeah. You're saying the whole group would move in that direction.
No. Listen to me. First of all, I don't make the rules up. Let's clarify that. I'm not making up the rules of speciation here. I'm explaining the models here. And for one species, and correct me if I'm wrong, do research please, because I'm not an expert in evolution. I wish the Boer was here, man. He'd give it on lockdown. Where is he? Describe him for me a second. You're probably sure I'm wrong, actually. Leave Sabor. Sabor. What do you know about speciation? What do you know about speciation and evolution?
Evolution?
Yeah, we're talking about evolution. We're talking about speciation, and I'm saying.
I don't mean either word, but I'm not a scientist.
I know. That's why I needed Sabur. If I was talking to a Christian about the Bible, Paul's a man.
It's your accent, brother.
Sabur.
Okay, so let's go. Let's move on.
Anyway, yeah, let's move on. All right, don't worry.
Your whole point was don't see any evidence for evolution.
No.
And if I provided you with a transitional fossil,
I say to you again, I don't believe you have proof for evolution. Yeah. If you bring me fossil remains and say this was this and now this is this, I would ask you, how can you prove that?
Okay, but you also said that you have no problem with
adaptation.
The majority of
I have no problem with adaptation. I have no problem with Darwin's finches, for example, or what happened in. I found it very interesting on the Shetland Isles. Yeah. Because I just visited my mum recently, and did you know the Shetland Isles used to be part of Antarctica?
Oh, okay.
Covered in ice.
Right.
And then when it came to, and you know the distance between Shetland. This is some information there. The difference between Shetland Isles and the Arctic, the North Pole, is the same as Alaska and some other place. But because of
between the two of them,
the distance to it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But because of the Gulf Stream, the warm sea, it cools the land. So what happened there in the Shetland Isles It came covered in ice. Ice melted. Yeah.
So it broke away, I guess, or moved away.
Yeah, broke away. The ice melted, and then what happened? Spiders floated in the wind, and seeds came off the. And each island had it was like basically they called it. It was like the Galapagos of the north kind of thing. Yeah, quite interesting. Now I have no issue with that. See, I believe Allah in His wisdom allows for that. I don't believe the Creator of the heavens and earth couldn't have that facility. That the creatures He created could learn to adapt in their environments and adapt to the environments and the change within the environment. There was that one case about the elephants in Africa where they were getting hunted for their tusks, and then all of a sudden the babies started being born without tusks, for example. So they were no longer hunted. Now I don't believe an evolutionary mechanism, unconscious cause, some kind of said, you know what, make sure these babies don't have tusks so they won't be hunted.
Why would you not believe that?
What mechanism is there for that?
So that would be evolutionary pressure, because obviously they're getting hunted, and
so they would know the reason. They would know.
It's not like they will physically.
No, I'm trying to understand this principle. So you're saying that, I mean, if this is what you believe, it's what you believe. So you're saying the elephants somehow,
if what you claim is true, is that they were hunted for their tusks, then over a period of time
they stopped having tusks.
So
the hunters wouldn't come.
Yeah. What's your claim? That God?
No, I have no issue. No. I'm just giving an example. Right. The naturalistic explanation is what?
There would be evolutionary pressure, because otherwise they become extinct.
Right.
So the tusks are no longer needed, and therefore.
And there's no intelligence behind that.
When you say intelligence, there would be a biological.
What biological? So basically, you're saying the biological makeup of the elephant would know it's being hunted for its tusks.
In a sense, it's called teleonomic.
In a sense,
teleonomic is what we call that sort of.
So just to repeat that,
change.
The biological makeup of the elephant will know it's being hunted for its tusks.
Yeah, but you use the word no. It's like a conscious action. It's not a conscious.
No, of course, you believe it's subconscious, unconscious.
Like a biological action.
So it's a biological action.
It's like the finches. It's like the finches, isn't it? You accept that the finches changed their beaks and did whatever they.
No, because that was to survive. Yeah. They realised they needed longer beaks or whatever it is. But to actually remove something because it's being hunted, I find that harder to understand.
What's that word you used?
Teleonomic.
Does that mean, let's say, 10 elephants were born, one of them happened to have no tusks, so therefore.
And that one survived and the others didn't. So it's more likely to give birth to elephants that don't have tusks.
Yeah, exactly.
Or their tusks are shorter and they get shorter over time. And that same elephant.
But then we can also ask, why do elephants have tusks? Can they survive without tusks?
So that's why the framework.
Wouldn't the elephants with tusks survive longer than the ones without tusks?
Well, not if they're being hunted, clearly. By the sounds of it.
No, we're talking about in their environment.
But then under the framework, you say stuff like evolutionary pressures and the gathering of resources are the things that dictate tusk length and trunk length and all these things.
The thing is, Hamza, the bigger point about all of this is that there are some smart Muslims, and I think Sabur is one of them, that believes in evolution. About 99% is what I thought I heard him on a video say. And the only thing that virtually every theist will say is that humans weren't created. So everything else, they're happy with speciation, changing over millions of years. They accept all of that. What they don't accept is obviously humans evolving from a common ancestor. That part they go, no. God had to at some point in that process.
But see, here's the thing. All right, and this goes deeper than into our beliefs, isn't it? Because if we believe in an uncaused cause, and I believe that cause is conscious, I don't believe it's accidental. I don't think this universe is accidental.
No, I know that.
Yeah, all right. So because and that's not unreasonable for you to hold that belief.
In your view,
do you think it's unreasonable for me to hold that belief?
Yeah.
Why?
Because there's no good reason. So we've got naturalistic explanations.
No. Your natural explanation. You say naturalistic explanation, which doesn't conform to anything we know of.
Give me an example.
You talk. Well, I'll go back to the beginning, innit? I believe the universe had an uncaused cause.
Okay, so, because I know you've spoken about it before, and when you talk about it, what you need to be on the same playing field is some kind of scientific hypothesis for a God. If you can do that, now you're on the same playing field. Now,
no.
At the moment,
I'll say it again to you. Cosmologists do not deal with the metaphysical. They don't even take it into account.
Do you think it's possible that you could come up with a hypothesis that could point towards a God?
Okay, can I say it again? Going from the beginning.
No, just that question.
All right, I'll say it again to you. We've agreed I can't prove there's a God, yeah?
That's a separate question.
All right, so I bring up a hypothesis. That there's an uncaused cause.
Yes, that's false.
Is it not?
Because now people will pay attention to it. If there was some mechanism that you could go, X, Y, and Z happened, here's some calculation, and this.
No.
Okay, but
So you think it's more reasonable
Yes.
to believe in something else that's unproven?
there's a difference between unproven and evidence pointing in that direction. I think that's the key point. Do you think?
No, for me the evidence pointing in that direction is I don't know of anything that changes its form without a cause.
Yeah, but that's a philosophical.
No, that's just my, no. That's me looking at the world I know, looking at everything that exists, looking at the things that come into existence, knowing that it requires something behind it to cause its effect. That's what I believe.
I wish you could come on some cosmological interviews and have a little bit more. You probably still go away going, oh, the biggest thing I hear is people go, oh, they haven't proven it, therefore I don't want to even entertain it.
This is what you're missing, you see.
Your mind
No. Here's the thing, you see. My reasons are bigger than just a subjective opinion like yours, all right? I believed in the idea of a creator because of when I looked at the world and around me, and I believe this couldn't have happened. That's my own belief, right? Then, when I delved further into it, I asked the question: has this creator linked to us, communicated with us, guided us, whatever? Yeah. Then I look to the people who made the claim that it has. Then I look at their claim. Then I see whether I believe their claim to be true or not. And if I believe their claim to be true or not, I go with that. You understand? So, I'm a Muslim today because I believe the claim that Muhammad, peace and blessing upon him, was sent by this creator that exists. I believe that.
Oh, I know you do.
Right?
Otherwise you wouldn't be Muslim. Yeah, sure.
Exactly. But I didn't need Islam to believe in a creator, though. I believed in a creator 2 years before I was a Muslim. Yeah, I accepted that, but I was agnostic.
What sort of creator did you believe in?
At that point, I didn't believe in man-made religion. I didn't believe in this personal idea of a God.
You think there was just an intelligence that spoke the universe?
I believed in the idea of an uncaused, intelligent creator. The idea that I don't believe this universe could have happened without one.
Okay, but it didn't have any, at that stage, it didn't have any interaction.
At that point, at that stage, I had no connection to that creator. I had no trust in man-made religion or organised religion, which control the masses, opium of the people. I would concede there was a creator, but I wouldn't go as far as dictates of perceptions of that creator. I would go to the idea of an uncaused cause that was conscious and deliberately caused the universe for whatever reason, I don't know. And then when everyone makes their claims, and I would test their claims, and you understand. So that was my position.
That's actually harder to disprove, other than we still need the evidence that he exists. But that's.
I'm not claiming it's proven.
No, I know. But that view,
I do need the toilet.
I'm more sympathetic almost to that view because there's less. The more information you give, the more we can.
No.
So that view is
That's the point though, because that's my standard. That was my standard.
Yeah.
Religion is for weak people. Need control. Need a crutch in their life. Opium of the people. Yeah, to control the masses. That was my understanding.
Yeah.
Until a Jehovah's Witness knocked on my door and gave me a beautiful book, Mankind's Search for God.
Yeah.
And I read that, and it abused every religion of the world.
Sorry, to go.
It basically explained every religion of the world, and then showed how they weren't true, or why they believed they weren't true, except Islam. So when it came to Islam, there didn't seem to be a refutation to it. And I think I read something by David Icke at one point about religions. And again, he didn't seem to refute Islam. He may do now, maybe got hold of some Islamophobic stuff, I don't know. But at that point in my life, he didn't seem to. So I was confused as to, not confused, intrigued as to why Islam seems to stand the test of the scrutiny. So that's when I looked at it, and then started to become interested in it. But still, I knew non-practicing Muslims, so I used to say to them, "Are you praying?" And they said no. I said, "Wait."
Here's a question for you, because some of the viewers might be interested.
I do need to use the toilet, though. But go on.
The question then. On one of your videos, you said the main reason you turned to Islam was because of fear of hell. And at the same time, here with Sarah, you said no, you believe for like more intellectual reasons. So
No.
There was a question about you being inconsistent.
No. There was no. We would clarify that, clear that up. Yeah. Basically, I said my belief in the idea of a creator and Islam as being the truth was not an emotional thing. It wasn't an emotional reaction. It was an intellectual investigation.
Was it prior or after you accepted because of the fear of going to hell?
No. I didn't even look at the fear of going to hell. I didn't even bother with that.
Okay. So you only that's
It was only no. It was only when I became convinced of the Creator. I became convinced the Quran was the word of that Creator, and Muhammad was the messenger of that Creator, and I accepted the warning being given to me.
Okay, so you feel like you did an intellectual investigation.
Yes, 100%.
And then you were extra convinced by the fear of hell.
I was motivated.
Okay.
No, I was motivated by the punishment that God put there as a motivational tool for man to move away from it and to go towards the worship of God. And like I said earlier, worshipping God, obeying Him, follow His guidance, live a beautiful life, free from all the poisons you're subject to.
Well, those people who choose to. But
No, I'm not interested. Of course, I appreciate that you might avoid those poisons. But following your worldview, you could also be a victim of them.
I could, but do you think people should have that choice, or should they be banned from having that choice?
If you ask me the question, should my children have the choice to listen to me or do their own thing?
At some point they're going to do their own thing, correct?
No. But at this point in time...
No, but let's not talk about children. Talk about adults.
Well, let's start with the children. Why do I tell my children what to do?
Because you believe that you're telling them the right thing. We all do.
No. I do it for their benefit.
That's what you... Yeah.
Right.
We all say the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
They might not comprehend why I'm telling them something, but the reality is, it's for their benefit. So, prime example, tidy your room.
Yes.
They might not understand it, and I'll say, look, if you don't tidy the room, you're not going out. If you tidy your room, I'll take you to the cinema. Motivate them that way, yeah?
Yes.
Now, I'm not telling them to tidy their room because I want to reward or punish them. I'm telling them to tidy their room because it's for their benefit. Because if their room becomes messy and untidy and dirty, they might end up with mice and flies and whatever. Now, they might not comprehend the consequences of having an untidy room, yeah? But I can comprehend it.
Yes.
So they need my guidance because they don't know, right? Yeah. They can't comprehend. So my next question comes, who guides me? Who tells me the things I can't comprehend? Who tells me what's good for me? Who tells me what's bad for me?
Can you not work that out for yourself?
How can I?
Why can't you?
Okay.
You've got critical faculties, you can look at the world.
I look at the world. Okay. I'll give you an example. I look at the world.
Yes.
I look at alcohol.
Yes.
I see people having a good time.
Yes.
My government tell me you can drink it.
Yeah.
So is that a good thing?
Okay, so if I brought you an article next time we speak that says that 1 glass of wine a day is actually good for you or better for you than having no alcohol,
what would I say?
What would you say to
I
that?
would say that in Islam, the Quran says about even though there's benefit in alcohol, the harm is greater.
Okay, but if I brought you... Just move just slightly over here. Come over here, we won't hear a thing.
There's a lot of space over there. Come on.
We just won't hear a damn thing.
Trying to prove a point.
You want to go to... Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So
But if you say that to me, I already know that.
okay, do you know that there's a scientific study that shows that 1 glass of wine is beneficial?
But I just said to you, the Quran says the same.
But what you said in the Quran, if I understood you correctly, is that there can be benefits and detriments, and detriments outweigh.
It says even if there is benefit in it, the harm is greater.
Okay, but what I'm saying to you is that the potential scientific study is that there's benefits outweigh the harm of it. And if that were true, and I could bring that and present that to you,
unfortunately, you can't.
Why not?
Okay, if you're saying to me that the health benefit of a glass of wine outweighs
1 glass,
outweighs A&E on a Friday and Saturday night, drunk drivers, and all of this business. 70% of people in prison are intoxicated or on drugs when they did their crime. If you're saying it outweighs that, I challenge that.
Okay, but remember what I said? I said 1 glass of wine a night.
No, 1 glass of wine a night.
So you're not going to have
to 1 glass.
No. Let's just say
None of the detriments you've talked about are applicable with 1 glass of wine.
No, for me they're not.
For anybody.
No.
Find somebody who...
The point here is this: if you can get people to stick to 1 glass of wine a night, as you say, and you can guarantee that, you may have a point, but you can't.
No, but that's a different thing.
No. Because if you go to alcoholics, they did it.
It's not enough.
Go to an alcoholic and ask them when you started drinking, how much did you drink? And I guarantee it wasn't more than 1 glass a night. Probably less.
Okay, but that's not the point.
No, the point is this: it's poison, and it can cause damage on a massive scale within any society.
The whole scientific claim is it's not poison if taken in moderation.
No, but the point here is this: society will not be told what to do. Why? Because for example, what's your moral anchor?
What do you mean by that?
All right, what do you use as a standard to determine what is right and what is wrong? No. What is your standard?
The well-being of conscious creatures. So the well-being of
No. What is your standard? What do you go to? What do you look at?
So methodological naturalism and the scientific method.
Right. So what is your standard? No. I'm asking you, what is your moral anchor? What is it you can go to and say to him, you're wrong because of this?
Okay, good. So the reason I could go to him and say it's wrong is because what I consider the yardstick is the well-being of conscious well-being of conscious creatures, the worst possible misery for everybody.
Right.
And we can move on a continuum.
All right. Okay. So you're saying now, so according to your yardstick, alcohol should be completely eradicated in society?
No, but that's...
Yes.
But I've just said to you that the scientific, if the study is true, that one glass of wine will actually be more healthy for you than having no glass of wine. Just one glass. Forget about if...
So you're saying having one glass of wine is healthier than not drinking one?
Say again?
So it's healthier?
Correct, yes, yeah. So if I
Right.
now, that's a study, that's a potential study.
And I'll say to you again, as I've said, the Quran tells me that. But I know it won't stop at one glass of wine with everybody.
Okay, but there's a difference.
And once you allow it in society, you will have drunk drivers, and you will have A&E on a Friday and Saturday night collapsing the NHS, without a doubt.
Okay, but you're putting together two different things.
No. What we're doing is this.
You're trying to give me the practical answer.
No, you're giving me the benefits of alcohol.
He's talking about the whole. You're talking about.
Yeah, you're giving me the benefit of alcohol, and I'm telling you no. All right. So let's do your study. You tell me the benefit of alcohol, and I'll tell you the destruction alcohol causes, and then we'll see if society is better with or without it.
Okay, remember what the question was there? One glass of
wine, yeah.
a night.
Yeah. So you're saying 7 glasses of wine a week.
One glass of wine a night. Yeah.
Right. And you're
apparently has benefits, heart benefits.
Right.
Yes.
So you're saying that you think in a society everyone should only drink 1 glass of wine a night?
No,
that's what you're saying.
Healthy, yes.
That's your moral standard.
If they were true, I would have to.
So according to you, anyone who drinks more than 1 glass of wine is wrong.
That would be more. That would be start to go on the detrimental side.
Right.
Because it's based on studies. So that's
right. And do you believe alcohol is addictive or not?
For some people, yes, sure.
You know, so even it's addictive.
Everybody, no.
Right.
I used to drink. I stopped drinking entirely, and I knew when I had a couple of glasses of wine or beer, and I go, what feelings? But I know there's people who aren't. But that's not the question.
Have you ever had a bereavement?
Yeah.
And you never drink to see? Look.
No.
Really?
No. Because I didn't really like the taste.
See, here's the thing, you see, Rob, and this is what you've got to understand. You've got to stop being so selfish. All right. You need a standard that can benefit and support everyone.
I think it's
so. Some people have addictive personalities and can't stop at 1 glass, and you allow them 1 glass, you don't know where it's going to go. Now the problem with you might be strong in what you do. Yeah, you might have strong willpower. People are weaker than you, and if you give people the signal it's okay to drink alcohol, yeah, they have a bereavement, their wife divorces them, yeah, they seek solace in the alcohol because alcohol is an escapism. Yeah, it does make you forget what's going on around you. So if you have a really crappy life, you know that alcohol can make you forget. Yeah, and then you start taking that alcohol in large quantities to avoid the